What's the Sikha? I'm not going to say it's an easy Sikha. And you know already, usually I like to make one sheet with the Maramakoimis. But, azoi, it's a Geschmack Sikha. Rebbe like slugs up Rogachover and Reb Chaim Halevi. So, you know what I mean? And next week I want to do a sister Sikha. This is a Sichot Doshel Amates, a Sichot Doshel Amadalek. But the Rebbe has the same Mahalach at the end. So, a more than Mahalach in Chinuch. And Topshin and Aleph, the Rebbe changed his mind. So, this is a little bit of achona to what I want to do my Shabbos Agol Drosha. The drosha is not going to be time, and no one's going to have patience, and the clientele is not going to be there to hear a chiddush from Reb Chaim Halevi in the Rogachover. But the Rebbe's mahalach nechinuch, you can add, you know, a little lumdus. But just to as a achona and to go thoroughly through the sugya. So I'd like to do these two sichos tonight about the Korban Pesach, a cotton with a Korban Pesach. And next week, Blinada, to do a sikha about when this year is Erev Pesach Shecholis B'Shabbos. So there's a funny shaila about a child. It's similar to the shaila, a child whose bar mitzvah is on Friday. So when is he supposed to? Is his father supposed to hear the siyum? Is he supposed to hear? Are they both supposed to hear? Whatever. So we'll do that next week. Okay. And Hilchas Korban Pesach Paskin and Rambam. I mean, yesterday we learned about those Pashas HaChodesh. We read the Pasuk, these psukim that we're dealing with. In Pesach Mitzrayim, today was the time to start getting ready. It was 2 weeks. It's told that you have to start 2 weeks before you're ready. You have to start looking for Korban Pesach. In Hilchas Korban Pesach Paskin the Rambam, as Alpha People say, Pesach Rishon Pesach Sheni is Chayav Pesach Sheni. Even though if a child has a bar mitzvah between Pesach Rishon and Sheni is Chayav Pesach Sheni. Well, the loch is Kedas Rebbe is Pesach Sheni is regel b'fnei atzman. When the Rebbe kennt the Chiyuv from Pesach Sheni holds on a fil of einem was nit gewem mechuyev in Pesach Rishon. The Gemara has a big shackle of Atayim. The Maskon of the Gemara is regel b'fnei atzman. That means that even if he is part of him Pesach Rishon because he was a cotton, now that he's a godly Chayav Pesach Sheni. From dessen wegen der Rambam says a Chiddush. Shochet olo berishon poter. If his father shechted for the child berishon, so then he's poter. You do the Tmim Bazeh, in hour 3 brings that the Rogachover found that's Befedisha Yerushalmi, depends how you read the Yerushalmi. Okay, so I feel it's a Befedish Yerushalmi, it doesn't matter. The Shaila is what it doesn't make sense. You do the Tmim Bazeh is a cotton. Respect the Kesef Mishnah, Otter cotton bar Chiyuv Peturehu. We can the Shchita lo berishon when given a bar Chiyuv patrim in Pesach Sheni. How could you say? Yeah. So nit given a bar chiyuv. He was not a bar chiyuv. That doesn't make sense. He was not a bar chiyuv. So if a person put on film, Lila's loves man film. It'd be Yotzef by day. Shabbos is loves man film. So okay, whatever. He was in a rush. Sunday's very busy. So by Shalosh Shudas he put on film. Shabbos you put on film. So you tell me I put on film Shabbos for something. You can't. It's a child is potter from Korban Pesach. So what are you telling me that a child did a Korban Pesach and therefore he's potter from Pesach Sheni? The Mish Kesef Mishnah bringt der Tiris von der Rikurtus. Kiven der Rachmon Rabbi lekotn shishchatel of Mamane Moise. Wie man lernt das ab von der Pasuk selber bei Sove selber boys. Maybe Veshechet Yidei B'noi Bitul Maktanim. Nifteru Mekach Min Hasheni. So the cause of the Torah says that a Sela Beis Ovis, that the father has the mitzvah to shecht for his children and including little children. It's a very good teretz. But Loita Maskona Segemara in Nidor. So is mashma for Namba. The Ori brings his mashma that way also from the Alter Rebbe. is a celibate office, love the Raisa. It says, is minatoid in the token din mini of a cotton. So it's not an answer. So the maskon and the la loch is celibate office is not the Raisa.
So the Rabbanon can't be, Rabbanon the Kachiev can't be pater.
Yeah, how could a Rabbanon the Kachiev pater the Raisa? Plia atzuma. That's we even said a trade Rabbanon. We had a Shaila is pater achad Rabbanon. Okay, but that's all the Rabbanon. The Rabbanon should pater the Raisa. Let's man the pollock that it's off the wall. In חידושי Reb Chaim הלוי, Reb Chaim has a teretz. Oifen Rambam is mavur as hod the sel beis avas lav deraisa hu rak linye chiyuva. So they talk in chiyuv oifenov zum akrev sein Pesach alaktana. Aber linyen iker din minu yisrabe gam ktanim mikro the sel beis avas. Yochel amanoise shalem edaita. Sischol aleim chiyuv din minu yabailim shal Pesach min ha-Torah. Basically, what Reb Chaim is saying is that the Meri Kurkus is right. Even though we hold that celibate of a slav that Isa means that father's not mechuyev to be his son, but Torah, if he was his son, there's a din minu. It's not chayiv to be his son, but if he was his son, that works. And a piece of emphasis, the psak and Rambam valchoch as lo yichlu ktanim bechiyuv the korban Pesach. From a cotton and it came bar chiyuva. From dessen wegen a Pesach oilu lahem. V'meila izer poter mi Pesach sheni kiven de kvar kaim akrovas a Pesach o mitzvosoi berish. So, Reb Chaim, and the Rebbe has very similar to Reb Chaim Halevi, just with a twist. He said him as like a 5 minutes after the Spannech from the Rogatsheva, was said is mevaris, es veran zwei dinim via cotton can essen a korban Pesach. Rogatsheva says there's 2 situations of a child eating a korban Pesach. Number 1, Betzadadim for celibate office, v'do was in dem oifen wird der Cotton nicht verrechen von der Bnei Chabura. Und hat nicht kein Sheichus akrovis was is a Pesach, das erst korban Pesach is novel bottle up. One level is he's bottled his father. He's bottled his father.
His father eats, he's bottled to his father.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be allowed to eat by the neighbor.
Huh?
He wouldn't be allowed to eat by the neighbor.
Right. He's bottled his father, and he's not the father mechuyev, but if the father does it, he's okay. Number 2, Oiv is immer man al Pischoy, was demult wird einer von der Bnei Chabura. Von sie muss der Cotton sein, was kann essen, a Kazais, und muss sein, a Ben Das. Second is that there is a din minui, but not a chiyuv minui. There's a din minui. The second level is similar to the Reb Chaim Halevi, but with a little more sophistication. He has all lumdus that, but in order for him to be Bnei Chabur, he has to have a little bit of das. It has to be a Ben Das, not a Bar Mitzvah. Obviously, he's younger. It has to be a Ben Das and Shaykh to eat a Kazais. Just like any Agodl. You can't be a Mamana, a Choyla that can't eat a Kazais. So in the lower level, he's not really, there's no minu here. He's bottled his father. So just like the father could eat a Kazais and a half.
Every person has to be eat a Kazais.
If Lepoil, he couldn't, Nebach, whatever.
He got sick.
But he got sick. But B'shas, you man at Korban Pesach, he has to be yochel to eat a Kazais. So that's why if you say on the first level, so the father could eat a Kazais in his half. He decides the half a Kazais to give to his son. Okay. The second one is that you're memana your son. You're not mechuyev, but you could do it. Oh, he has to be able to eat a kazais, and he has to have a certain level of das.
Or certain age.
Yeah, a certain age was called a ben das, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, he brings in the bottom, just like Lagabi Sukkah also we have, that the chinuch starts at a certain age.
Calls his mother. Yeah.
Right. Okay. From there, Psak and Amam, Shochtel of Berishim Potter, that's nor in a fall when a cotton is geworden, eine von der Bnei Chabur al Yedei Minu, Shochet Olav, weil demult is die, as is a Pesach, euch zu libim, and then the Swiss is the same like Reb Chaim Halevi, just with a little twist. Bottom line is that the Take father's not mechuyev to be meman his son. But if he's meman his son, the son is considered minat Torah, a part of the Korban Pesach, is echad mibnei Chabura. And therefore, since he did it, so minat Torah, his mitzvah Pesach Rishon is a mitzvah. And therefore, he's part of a Pesach Sheni. But there tirutz. Zafilu lot madam asalo beisavas lav der ice is a cotton begeder minam Torah is deurish be your noise. Choyre, this is a pella. Why? Tois v'zog. As Leuten man da mit selber bei selber slav der Reis says the Korban Pesach hadvar iser for the Korban. That's what Tosis writes in the Sugya. And if you say sev the base of a slav der Reis, that means mina Torah, a father is not mechuyev to be memana his son. It'd be also for the son to eat a Korban Pesach. Well, the Korban Pesach torn to guessing ben shalom nuyev. Dosus memeg Michael zan a kotna Korban Pesach. He is nor the far vasike chinuch mitzvah. So that's what Tosfos says. Tosfos says that if you hold that celebrates of a slav deiraisa, so it's also for the kid to eat. Why is the kid eating? So you have to say because there's chinuch mitzvah. What's the pshat? How does the chinuch yeah? So the lomdus of it, the Rebbe is going to explain later. But that's what he says. He says, Loi Toisvis is a cotton, Laman Omes, Celebrate Service, Love the Rice, and it beget the minor. Nit nor as need beget the chiruv, nor as osur baza. Nit beget the korban min ha-Torah is osur im afila Michael zayin from korban Pesach. And that's what the Toisvis is saying. The Toisvis is saying that it's osur to give the child to eat in the korban Pesach. He's only allowed to eat because of the din of chinuch. There's a story that the Rebbe ever said. Yeah.
You can memane.
Right. So basically, he's going to say is that the teretz, Reb Chaim and the Rogatchover doesn't go according to Tosfos. And he's going to say in a second that Hayos the Poskim, the Alter Rebbe brings the Rambam, all the Poskim. No one mentions that they think that there's a machloikus of the Rambam and Tosfos. It's like a little bit of a pella to say that the Rambam holds not like Tosfos, and Tosfos holds not like the Rambam. But how come the Alter Rebbe quotes the Tosfos and he doesn't say, "Oh, this is Shaloika Rambam"? And the Noisakliya Rambam are, talking about the Rambam, and they don't mention, oh, by the way, this whole Rambam is the Loka Toisvus. The way the Rogatchover and Chaim is having it is that the way they're understanding it, that the Rambam gate nishmet Toisvus. The Rambam, the holes that even celebrates of a love their rice, so you're not going to money your son. But if you're money your son is
You're allowed to.
You're allowed to.
You're not allowed to.
And Toisvus, you're not allowed to. So how come
you're not allowed to feed him?
You're not allowed to feed him? Why are you allowed to feed him for a different thing? Because of chinuch.
Yeah,
but that's not what the Chaim is saying. There's a beautiful story that I'm taking a little break. That the Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe said that his father in the morning asked him to say the brachas. The Rebbe Rashab told his son to say brachas.
Tonight is Sichos.
I was like, Rebbe Rashab's yortzeit tonight.
Tonight.
So business is very good. So shkoch brachas. I was going to look up the story, and I'm sorry, I'm not bediuk otzim, but this is the story. And he didn't want. He said he already said brachas. He already said brachas. His father said, "Doesn't matter. I want you to say the brachas again." And he gave him a slight patch. So he cried and he said, "Why am I saying brachas? If I'm saying it for the Rebbeinu Shalom, I already said it." And saying it a second time is a bracha levatala. And if I'm saying it for you, what's the point of saying it? So the father said that the same Eibishter that said you're not allowed to say a bracha levatala, that Eibishter said that you have to have kibbud avein. And the same Eibishter said that a father has to look after the chinuch of the son. So V'meila, when I tell you that you have to say over the brachas, you have to say over the brachas. That's the nekuda, maybe a more nekuda of the Maisa. But this goes very well with Shittas Tosfos.
Father says son to do an Avarius, do the proper autonomy.
So there's few ways of learning the story. One simple way.
Kid is a cotton and you already know this deed.
It's funny, exactly. But there's a few ways of learning the story. But this memes, the Tosfos really is very much that way. Tosfos says that really you're not allowed to eat the Korban Pesach. You have to be counted on the Korban Pesach. If you're not from Friday morning, I'm saying Friday, Erev Pesach morning, if you're not part of the group on the Korban Pesach, it's awesome in Torah to eat from this Korban Pesach. So the child is only eating because of chinuch. So chinuch overrides it. Apile ploim. Okay. So the little bit of beer soon from the Rebbe.
Is it chorus to eat a polemina?
I don't know if it's Issakarus.
A lav?
It's a lav, for sure, a lav, yeah. All these things are probably lavim. not eating a Korban Pesach is a Kodesh. Und der alte Rebbe bringt up, Shittas HaToisos LaHalocha. Das ist Shoyne von der alte Rebbe, das ist Meshumem Gimel. Das ist Shoyne. Kol Dova. Shu Mishum Chinuch Mitzvah, anything which is a Chinuch, Mutter Lispas Loi Iser Biyadayim. If it's a Chinuch, you're allowed to feed him the Iser with your hands. If it's a Korban Pesach, to feed it to a child. Aber B'Shalom Nimna Lo, V'ena Pesach Nachal Lemnu, if Afa B'Kein, Tivin Shel Neskaven Lachanach Mitzvah's Mutter. If he wants to be Machanach Mitzvah, that's why it's Mutter. The Rebbe says, Leute Biurim Anal Barambam, mit Uskum and the Psak von der Alte Rebbe, ist bestiert zum Psak Rambam. Es hat durch zu sagen, also, man gefindet nicht, dass der Chalekes al Rambam, und nicht mehr sein als Benoise Kliya Rambam, is moving, as alle nehmen up Psak Rambam. Usually the Noise Kliya Rambam, if there's a Tosfos or an important tradition that holds not like the Rambam, they're going to mention something. So the Rambam says his din, and no one says that it's against Tosfos. The Alter Rebbe, if he would have quoted a Tosfos, and the Rambam holds not like Tosfos, so the darker from the Alter Rebbe, and darker from Gedolei HaPoskim would be to say, even though the Rambam holds not that way, but the Tosfos holds this way, and we pass like Tosfos, so we should be choshesh. You don't ignore Rambam. You don't ignore Rambam. That's what the Rebbe's taina is.
With the Rambam to go.
The Malochis are before the Shiur Shalmi. The Shaila is what's the Svara? What's the Svara to say that it's a Shalmi? That it says that if the cotton ate the Korban Pesach Rishon, then the cotton doesn't have to bring the Korban Pesach Sheni. The Shaila was the Svara. So the Rogachover and the Chaim Halevi say Poshet, because even if you say Sever the Beis Lovis Lav Deiraisa, you're not mechuyev to bring for him a Korban Pesach, but you could if you'd like. But that doesn't sound that way from Tosfos. Tosfos doesn't hold that way, and no one ever mentioned that there's a machloikas and Rambam and Tosfos. It'd be much more gishmak to give a new biur and Rambam, so the Rambam and the Tosfos will go together, and now we'll understand how come everyone quotes the Rambam, quotes the Tosfos, and no one mentions that there's a machlokes in Rambam and Tosfos.
Doesn't hold from Chin.
He holds from chinuch crazy. That the chinuch is so strong that he
Override.
overrides. It's a issa deraisa to eat. It's a issa deraisa.
Not to give him.
No, the chinuch is to give him. You're doing a issa deraisa. The kid is not allowed to eat the Korban Pesach.
And according to
And Tosfos says, give it to him.
the chinuch is
The chinuch is more important. Chinuch. More important than chinuch. Unbelievable how important the chinuch is. That even though you're giving him a isa biyadayim, it's also for him to eat it. You're giving him a piece of meat which is also to eat. But through this, you're being mechanechim. That's why it's like the story that the Rebbe Rashab told the son to say the brachas again. And even though but he wanted to be mechanechim. He wanted to be mechanechim in the union of Kabbalah soil. When your father tells you something, you have to listen. And that's it.
I would say, you did say brachas, but not the way I want you to say brachas. You chaplap, let's say. Say it.
So, but that's not what he answered. That could be that was take.
What's the matter?
Huh?
Or insult a child.
Yeah, it could be that he didn't
What's
want to
the
insult
chinuch?
him. That's it. But Lapel, what he said, he wouldn't like to. What he said was that Taka, you're right. Alamai the Eibishter gave me a mitzvah chinuch, and mitzvah chinuch. I'm telling you, you have to do it again, and that's why this story sounds to me very much like Tosfos. Tosfos says the child is also to eat the Korban Pesach, but the mitzvah chinuch is so important that you have to give him a isur in order to be mechanechim. You have to understand. Every chinuch, anything which if you're not mechanech a child from a young age to do something, it's very hard for a kid later to do it. It'll be very, 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 very.
The bar mitzvah and all of a sudden start keeping all the mitzvahs.
Right.
Possible.
Very schwer.
Today we have the tzitzis. We learn like tzitzis in the Rambam, and he said you do put a tzitzis on a little kid. Why is mechanechem?
Mechanechem, exactly. So
Develop the taste for the Korban
Huh?
Pesach. Let's develop the taste.
he has to develop a taste for Korban Pesach. In other words, if a kid, when he was a kid, went to bed, and then it's his whole life is never going to be It's never going to be the same. The kid knows when he was small that the Korban Pesach, which Agav, Korban Pesach probably had an unbelievable smell. We did a few times beautiful madrashim about Moshe Rabbeinu. He roasted the Korban Pesach and it smelled so amazing that all the Yidden begged him. And he said they should do the Mila.
I went to Mishnah today with my kids. You're allowed to put smearing on it. You're allowed to
Right. Well, the truth is, even without the shmearing, it smells. That's an extra. That's lamb has a moedikas stamazoi. Lamb has an unbelievable smell. Unbelievable smell. There's a very strong, some might not like it, but it has a very, not like meat, it has a very
roasted meat, like a good
roasted meat has a smell, but there's something in lamb that has a and the kid grows up, he's a little kid, then he eats and it does, and there's a whole chabura is a whole thing. I mean, they would huddle together, they would sit together, and there was another chabura, they would sit together, and
they can't break any bones, and it's very
they can't break the bones, and you have to finish eating
everything.
Yidden ate Korban Pesach, every Yid ate Korban Pesach. Even the Yidden that were not so from.
Like that coming today, that we do our first night before
right.
It gets better.
The kids got very involved in it. Because, even the second base of Mikdash, they were, later Tkufas, there were Yidden that were Nebach, very much, they were involved, they were Fayova and Roman, and they were very influenced by the Roman way of life, very, very influenced by the Roman way of life. Many of them were very wealthy, and they used to travel all over the Roman Empire. Alapol, they were Jewish. And Korban Pesach, it seems from the Divrei Hayam Mohem that every Yid did Korban Pesach. Every Yid did. There's no such thing a Yid that didn't do a Korban Pesach. Korban Pesach, every Jew did.
Everybody has a Seder.
Exactly. Seder is very, very strong. Very, very, very strong Seder. Sukkot is not so lucky. Shavuos, not that lucky. But Seder, how did we get to this point? If children would be put to bed and Eshbal Bar Mitzvah, starting Korban Pesach, we'd never be at this point. So that's what Tosis is a very big thing. Okay.
All Seder, the whole Malach of Seder is for the
child. Right. Okay, right. Ois Dalet.
It's very clear though, because it disagrees with the Rambam. So why are we trying to fulfill him?
No, it's not that the Rebbe is going to verstell together in a way that Tosis and the Rambam goes very well. And then you understand why the Noisa Kli Rambam never mentioned that the Rambam and Tosis are against each other. Or the Rambam, who usually quotes the Rambam, and if someone argues with the Rambam, he'll say that he's quoting the Tosis and not mentioning a word that the Rambam Shaloika Rambam. So it'll all flow together very nicely. Mitake, Nois Daled, and hey, the Rebbe wants to say that maybe the Alter Rebbe didn't hold in Gansen like Tosis. The Alter Rebbe said, maybe the Alter Rebbe is talking about in the case which loy nimna lo. In the case that loy nimna lo, so then you can still give it to him as a chinuch. But the Rebbe says it doesn't make sense because how did the Tosis machriach his din? It's like a חידושי. You can give like the story of the Rebbe Rashab and the Frierdiker Rebbe. He gave him a slap and told him that he should say the brachas again. Why? Because I told you it's brachas. Because it's poshet from Chazal that the children used to eat the Korban Pesach. From everything Chazal say it's mashma that children were eating Korban Pesach. So Tosis is asking, but why? So you must say that chinuch is more important than everything. Chinuch, even though it's also for him, give him the Korban Pesach of chinuch. But if you're going to say that no, if you were mana him, it would have been mutter. So maybe when Chazal say that the children were eating Korban Pesach, because we mana them.
It's problematic either kid because he always waits and he drops on the floor and it's good.
A little bit is going to get lost, but still. So it's the fact that Tosis. I'm skipping I'm turned to page 7. I'm turned to Oizain. According to the man, according to Tosis, Mashma not allowed to. If you say you're allowed to, so then why is Tosis saying Metzat Chinuch? Maybe that you could be memana cotton, like
You're not allowed
Chaim
to punish
says.
him, but you're
And
allowed to feed him.
you're allowed to feed him and go chinuch. So let's go. I'm skipping over to Zayin because I said Baped the Nakuda of this. Right before Zayin. Api calls this Hoder Kushla. Dukta Vishtim the Psak and Almarem Psak and Amma. V'yesh lema the beard in them. So the Rogachev says there another something which the Rebbe says the Rogachev meant to say a different beard. The Rogachev loit a beard from the v'yesh lema the beard in them loit klava the Rogachev and them terois from Psak and Amma manal gam poter a pula mitzvah was me tut b'shas aptur kiven the pula shlo kayemes nifter av bezman shenes chayv. And they bring the Rav Kama Dugmoas. From the Bahag is mashma as Leute man damals a cotton moile is a yoitze the mitzvah from True Ravum with the bottom shnel de bekatnusik. What happens? A boy who is 9 years old could already have children. So Lama Zogan that this boy at 9 years old he had a baby, and he had a boy. He was 10 years old. He had a baby, a girl. Now after bar mitzvah.
He was Mekayah mitzvah before bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
While he was a cut.
Yeah.
The question is if
a cotton is not chayv mitzvah. So how can you tell me he did the mitzvah provable?
Okay.
Another right.
Because they're still alive.
That's the truth. That's exactly. And whatever wants to be machadish, that more than that.
It's like a 3-year-old, then that's the whole point. But it's
the truth.
And
He's still alive.
it is
He's still alive. Look at the second example. As an any Yehudi welchot sich malgeven l'shem mitzvah, avapi that tut es nit l'shem geides, im nesgar achkach ein tzorich lahotev dam bris.
Also again,
A chidush.
if a girl was Mekayah between Pesach Rishon and Sheni, it's chayv common.
But this is a separate thing. He made a bris when he was 20 years old. L'shem mitzvah.
Okay.
Now he's 50, 30 years later.
Right.
And now he wants to do Gir Ka'alocha. So we say, he doesn't have to do Atofas Dam Bris, because when he was 20 years old, he did, he's an Arab.
right.
And he did Bris L'Shem Mitzvah. So we say it's already counted. What do you mean? Elamai, even though he is Potter. No, Mitzvah Stam. Mitzvah because David said. Or 3, the mitzvah from Yediyas HaTorah is a Makayim with the Divrei Torah, v'smalanim bekaknusei v'bal deidei limud yelo Yediyah begadlus. A child is potter l'chayra from limud HaTorah. So what happens? A person learned when he was a child. He went to yeshiva, and then when he grew up, he's learning things based on what he knew as a child. So l'chayra, you should say he should learn it over. After bar mitzvah, kid should learn everything over. Why? Because what you learned then, you were potter to learn. So you should learn it over. The answer is no. How could you learn if you didn't learn in first grade, second grade, and third grade, and fourth grade, and fifth grade, and sixth grade, and seventh grade? You come by mitzvah, jump into 7th grade, you go to public school, and then 7th grade, that ain't tanz yeshiva. It's not shaykh. So therefore, that's also counted as part of his limud HaTorah. So the Rebbe wants to say that there's a big chiddush over here. That the same thing over here. There's a Pesach Rishon, and there is Pesach Sheni. So if a person did already Pesach Rishon, he doesn't have to do Pesach Sheni, even though it's a regel mifnei atzmai. Why? Because we say you already did Pesach Rishon. So, and obviously the idea of Pesach Rishon is still around. The idea of Pesach Rishon is still around. So same thing over here. If a child was young and his father gave him a korban Pesach, so the Rebbe says like this: it's mistaber to say when the Eibusha said that there's a mitzvah, a kid gets bar mitzvah and all of a sudden is mechuyev to do all the mitzvahs, but he has no clue. The Rebbe gives like an example out of 54. A kid whose bar mitzvah is looking out of 54. Kotten shehigdu betezvav betishrei shetzorech liyas v'lakachtam mishalachem betzorech umuchrech lahochin adal minu bekadnusei. What happens? A kid, this bar mitzvah is on the first day of Sukkot. No. So how is this kid supposed to do the mitzvah of lulav v'nesek? It says v'lakachtem lochem and mishalachem. Okay, he could get from someone else.
He didn't do the kingdom. I'm just saying when he did bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. Elamai. It's not that way. The Eibishter set it up. that he should learn and he should prepare bekatnusay. So therefore, and therefore, the same thing over here. That hayois bekatnusa, he did the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, and the Eibishter wants. That's not shayach. How are we going to have a kid grow up? Like we said before, a kid is going to grow up, and by the Seder night, his father might put him to bed, and when he's bar mitzvah, mitnamal now he's going to expect him to become a from yid. So it's not shayach.
Excluding him, say don't touch this.
Right, excluding him. Forget it. They're not allowed to touch. Elamai has to be that this is a chelik what the Eibishter wants. The chelik of the mitzvah satorah is that he should eat the Korban Pesach. So therefore, even though l'choyed it's bizman p'tur, but it's not true. It's not stam. Taka he's potter, but the Eibishter wants him to do it.
He doesn't eat the Korban Pesach the same like the adult. The adult eating it is a chiyuv. He eating it, that is a chiyuv.
Yeah, but still,
as a learning.
Still, because he's doing it as a learning, so therefore there's a metzias. Is doing it. Look at Ois Yud.
It's like a gichor path.
Atize wenn euch verstehen, wenn geht zakot shingel beim Pesach Rishon Pesach Tenge. Behegden was mit amol gerät Baruch wenn geht akot mechlal. Therefore, Gufa was teures Machaye vaiden in mitzvahs tekev mishayigda. Zmuchrig zu sagen, als der Aloche von der Mitzvahs wie Krishma Tfilm is akot mochuyev zu lernen, that eider wird agodel. That you're telling me that a kid has to put on a film. So how is he supposed to put on the day of bar mitzvah? He's supposed to learn how to put on film, how to be a yid. Obviously, you have to prepare from before. This says, "Atafila lula de chiyuv from chinuch vados is nor medivrei soifrim unatzi ve'afnav." Never mind the chiyuv of chinuch. The problem with saying chinuch is number one on the father. Second of all, it's the divrei soifrim. But you must say that mina Torah is mitzatzi ve'atorah akot mechuyev zich gereiten. So the mitzvahs welche wird in zijn mechuyev teken mishiyigda. Weil anders wird zei nicht können mekayim sein begedulosai. Al derech every hechsher mitzvah. He's saying, the Rebbe says, never mind that we say chinuch is only the rabbanon and chinuch is only on the av. What's if the kid doesn't have a father? And anyway, what's the plan? That's not the Eibishter. What's the plan? A kid is going to grow up and be in public school, and the day of his bar mitzvah, he's going to plop into yeshiva, and it werden rashka bahag, it werden afrum yid. How's it possible? The plan is that mitzad. You must say that mitzad the Torah, mitzad chiyuv Torah is you have to prepare yourself as a child. So because he prepared himself as a child and he ate the Korban Pesach, so and we must say that Pesach Rishon is nimshach into Pesach Sheni. Any person that ate Korban Pesach Rishon is not chayiv to eat a Korban Pesach Sheni. It's a pula nimshachas. So therefore, even though you don't have to say the Chiddush of the Rogachover or the Chiddush of the Reb Chaim Halevi. A whole thing with he's not machayiv to be manisab. His son could be nismana, even if you say nothing. It's he ate the Korban Pesach. He ate, and because the Eibishter wants, this is part of the plan. Never mind the chiyuv chinuv. Never mind the chiyuv alav. This is part of the plan. This is when the Eibishter gave a mitzvah. Korban Pesach, part of the mitzvah is that a child should train himself to eat it b'katnusay. So now, because he ate it b'katnusay, it's a mitzias. It's not like, oh, never mind. It's like I said example before. I put on film on Shabbos. Is it counted? No, it's not counted. Shabbos loves man filming. It's not counted. You did zero. Did I do a half a mitzvah? Put on Sunday, put on film. It's a mitzvah. Friday, it's a mitzvah. Shabbos, a half a mitzvah.
Do it at night.
It's a mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah b'chlal. But by a child, when he eats the Korban Pesach, that's the plan. The Eibishter wants that a child should eat. So therefore, when he had bar mitzvah between Pesach Rishon and Pesach Sheni, because he ate the Pesach Rishon. Never mind if it was mechuyev, is not mechuyev, it was mutter, it was asur, but he ate, and that's the chelik of the plan. So therefore, it's counted. Der Mitzvah Mavaza, next page. The Shakla Vataya Dua Vegan Akotan Shehigdal Bapunim Dore Mukofis Tezvav Ada Shachol B'Shabbos. Because the Chiyuv from Klisa Megillah is Mendam Makdim B'Chlal Tziyud Dalad Ada. Aber V'nit Zeh is Demol Noch Akotan. Kumt Ois as Akotan is Mekayim the Chiyuv Shemuchuyev B'Alz Godel Muchuyev Liklas Megillah. I want to explain the conundrum. The Rebbe says, the Rebbe used to love these like funny,
The kid born.
The kid's bar mitzvah, his kid is a Yerushalmi. Kid is Yerushalmi this year. A Yerushalmi boy. His bar mitzvah is on Purim.
Born on Sunday.
This year, Shabbos. Shabbos.
But Purim is on
They read the Megillah
Sunday.
in Yerushalayim on Friday. They eat the Sudas Purim on Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay, Sudas Purim is already after the bar mitzvah, everything's good. When is this boy supposed to hear the Megillah?
Right.
Friday, he's a cotton. Friday is a cut. Shabbos, Chazal said not to read Megillah on Shabbos.
Sunday is already after.
Sunday is Shana over his money bottle kavona. Put the shoes and finish. You can do early, you can't do later.
The one that,
So what should he do?
Actually, Megillah you could do from
So what is he supposed to do?
what's his choice?
What's his choice? What should he do?
No, actually, Megillah you could do.
So the Rebbe says, this is the Rebbe's, he's a child, he hears the Megillah. When it comes, because the Eibishter wants that a child should hear Megillah, so he heard Megillah.
Right.
You can't say, I put on Tefillin on Shabbos, it's zero. When a kid heard Megillah on Friday, it's not zero. What's the Eibishter's plan? The Eibishter said a Yid should do mitzvahs. So the child has to get trained when he's young to do mitzvahs. So he was trained to do the mitzvah. So V'meila, because he went to shul on Friday, even though he was a cotton, but he was not mechuyev. Taki was not mechuyev. But did he hear the Megillah? He heard the Megillah. So that's counted as a metzias. It's counted he heard the Megillah. Not like if I put on Tefillin on Shabbos, which is zero. It's counted like nothing.
It's like you say, he ate the Korban Pesach.
When's the land Megillah anyway?
Versteht is not a choice. So the Rebbe is asking, so is it pshat that he doesn't have a choice? So therefore, Taka, because the Rebbe is going to say, I'll tell you why. The Nafkamina is to understand the Rambam. The Rebbe says it's very schwer. Next week when we do the Sichos, the Rebbe says it's very schwer to say that the Eibush to set up a world where there's some impossible situations. How is this kid supposed to do his mitzvah? So one way of learning it is he didn't. Well, malasot.
No, but
He was a cotton.
It was a call. What do you do? But the other way, the Rebbe is learning it. No,
That's it.
it was yoitz. He was not chayiv, but the metzias of Megillah he heard, and it's a metzias because that's minatoid. It's a thing that a kid should have to hear Megillah, so it's counted. Apia now is the smoothing.
It's similar if somebody eat kazait matzah and Pesach night. He didn't have kavon and nothing, but he ate. He ate.
Lamaisi.
He ate. He did it.
Different over there is it was man chiyuv and he's chiyuv and this.
Yeah, but the point is that he did.
This is like a funny situation because it was a day before. Apia now is doch moving. Balda kedei zu haben kriyas Megillah betezvav muzman zilaina med yudaled. Zafapus mitzad yom yudaled atmiz nitzach im zum achayv zeh mit kriyas Megillah. He's in der kriyas of him chal achiv gomor nit no mitzad chiv zu leinen the Megillah yudaled als herrscher zu sein chiv beyom tezvav. Apia now as a kotten mit mochuyev min ha-toyre. In Yonaval Chazan Ima Machsher Lechiv Bigdulosa Yeshlem Dena Avapi as a cotton is Menatoire Clown Lit Shaykh Tos is a Pesach is over in their father's Higdal and Pesach Rishon Pesach Sheni as them all Bishon Zu Hote Cotton the Indian from Pesach or me vet doch Bern Agodl Lifne Pesach Sheni is a bald as Pesach Rishon Pesach Sheni is an Hemshech von ein Zman the Rebbe is der Cotton Faran der Indian from Pesach Rishon als Herrscher. So, Mechiu Pesach Sheni, besigna nachgekzahlt, wie bald Pesach Rishon Pesach Sheni ist ein Eininian. Teniskelil, und ist Mechiu in Pesach Sheni, ist der Chiu von Persias Pesach Shayach zu ihm, schön betchilles bei Pesach Rishon. So wie Chidush. Der Pfarrer Chotsch ist nicht Shayach zu sagen, als soll kennen, mekayim sein Mitzvah Siyas Korban Pesach bei Pesach Rishon, wenn es noch erkotten ist, aber durch den Meshochter Rishon, hat die Pula nicht der Kiyom Achiu von Krovas a Pesach, als Herrscher Lechiyuve be Pesach Sheni, B'meila, even a Pula Shaloi Kayemes Nifter Av Izman Sheniskayim. And that's what the way the Rebbe wants to be Miyashav the Rambam, so there's no machlekes the Rambam and Toysves, that not the pshat that this has to do with the machlekes if Sela Beis HaObes, Sela Boyes is like the Raisi Mechuyev to be Mamani your child, or even if the Raisi are not Machayim, but you could. No. It's nothing to do. Nothing to do. That like Tosfos says it's also for a kid really to eat the Korban Pesach. He's not a monon.
The Rambam agrees.
And the Rambam agrees. Elamai, because his bar mitzvah is between Pesach Rishon and Pesach Sheni, so the Torah wants because what's going to be otherwise? The Torah wants that he should eat. So Taka, he's not the chiyuv he doesn't have in Pesach Rishon. But if he ate the korban Pesach, that's considered a pula. He did something. It's counted. It's counted. It's counted. If I put on tefillin the Shabbos, it's not counted. But the boy that has a bar mitzvah between Pesach Rishon and Pesach Sheni, it's counted. That's the Rebbe's word. He's not mechuyev, but it's a ma'aseh. Usually, if I'm not mechuyev, it's 0. Shabbos I put on tefillin, v'nech meshigah. I didn't do anything. It's not the pshat. I did a shtickle a mitzvah. I did nothing. Maybe I noch did something bad because it's muktzah, whatever. But I didn't do anything. Mitzvah's tefillin. Here, that's the Rebbe's chidush, that the child is not mechuyev b'mitzvahs, but the pu'ula is a pu'ula. The ma'aseh is a ma'aseh, and therefore, when Pesach Sheni comes along, he already did Pesach. He already ate the korban Pesach. It's as if Kilu Neumar that the kazais korban Pesach is still in his mouth. He put it in his mouth. I'm saying it sounds silly, like as if the kid put the kazais in his mouth, and it's still sitting here. And the Pesach Sheni he swallowed kilu. It's not that way.
By the way, what's that?
It's not. That's. Oh, this is the whole thing. The Rambam says, "Im shachet olav b'rishon poter b'sheni." This is the whole shaila. Look at the first page.
Right.
That this is the whole chiddush that a poter shehigdol ben Pesach Rishon l'sheni chayve Pesach Sheni. However, im shachet olav b'rishon poter. If he didn't eat Pesach Rishon, take is chayve Pesach Sheni. It's a regular b'fnei atzmei.
Why Gichova doesn't want to say this in Kesef and
Why? Because it's the Rebbe's Chiddush. That's why. It's like a funny. It's a very.
If I want to make two more Pesach, I'm allowed to. But if I have a current Pesach,
No.
Why is he not allowed to?
No, but if he did not he didn't eat the Pesach Rishon. That's what he didn't. That Pasha Nish guessed. So a regular person, if he didn't eat a Pesach Rishon, it's not even going to help according to Rambam. He's Chayiv Kodesh, and that's it. He's done. A regular person that didn't do a Pesach Rishon.
Oh, yeah, it's cheap.
No, not only if if a person was not Tameh b'derech rechoike, he didn't bring bedafka the first korban Pesach. He can't. It's a irregular fnatzma. So therefore, he's chayv kodesh gendik. There's nothing's going to help. This child, he was a child, so he has a good in both ways. Right. He has the cake and he can eat it too. Right. If he didn't do Pesach, he shouldn't do Pesach Sheni. And if he didn't, he can. If he didn't, he does Pesach Sheni. And if he did, he's potted.
Shiur is the minhag of putting on tefillin before 13 comes from this reasons also.
For sure, for chinuch.
But why the child? 30 days, I understand, but why Chabad only 2 months? That was just.
There's an extra thing with the tefillin. There are people that are knowing not to do before because they say a child can't have control to have a guf noki. It's only a yotzim and a klal. Those people that the minig is not to put on tefillin with the son before is because they have a problem. They're scared that the child will not know how to keep his guf noki. Truth is, in the olden days, they didn't have so much hygiene. It was very hard for a person to keep a guf noki. You're thinking of, we have washing machine and we have a dryer, and every day you put on a new pair of underwear and you take a shower and you use soap every day, and else is good. And you go to the bathroom, it's well stacked with, all the good zachen that we have today. And for a child, we didn't.
But the chinuch point is the same.
Yeah, the chinuch is the same point. I want to sign with a beautiful story that the Frierdiker Rebbe said. It has to do a little bit with chinuch. I have a million thoughts that I want to share about chinuch, but as I said, I'll leave it for Shabbos Agadol. As I said, you have to something I have to write down to leave something. So the story was that he was a little boy, and his mother bought him a new suit and new shoes. Alamilas. New suit, new shoes. And he went to help his father at a Pesach, because he was doing with the bottles of wine. He was opening them, closing them, whatever. He was helping his father with the bottles of the wine. So they had seals, wine that they didn't know grapes are not growing in Lubavitch. So they're bringing from where? From Romania? They're bringing from Hungary? I don't know where they bring it from. They're bringing it from Egveld. They're not producing it in Russia. So and he was opening it up and pouring it into bottles. His father noticed that he's being very, very careful not to get any
dirt on his clothes.
on his suit and not to get his shoes full of stains of wine. His father said, Yosef Yitzchak, there's a thing in the Agoda that the Alter Rebbe says that Navodim Meyinu, the Hamoshel, that the Melech makes a big Su'uda. And he doesn't want everything should go to waste. So when they finish eating, the extra food goes to the avodah, but they still have waste that they give the extra food to the dogs. The food that falls under the table, they give to the dogs. Hayala aladas, that one of the Sorim Gedolim will go under the table and sit and eat with the dogs. The mashal that Rebbe gives is just he wants this, like Eden, the Eivishter is like, that the Eivishter, the whole Suda, the whole everything is for the Yid. And but the Rebbe Rashab was trying to say something to his son, and basically he was saying it's Pesach, it's Chag HaChidus, it's and your head is a nice suit, nice shoes. He told him in a nice way. He didn't say fair. He just told him a mashal. And the Frierdiker Rebbe said for the rest of his childhood, the rest of his life, he could never look. It took away all the time that he had and having a nice suit, nice shoes. After his father told him, like what, to sit under the table with the dogs. Pesach is Moedik. He didn't say what's fair, this cooks that suit, what's hard to say this. Because that's not the point. Why not to make the kid feel bad? He likes a suit. That's not the point.
In the cleaner, all the people give me hard time with ties.
Point is not to make him feel bad. The point is he should chap that there's something bigger in life than the new pair of shoes and the suit. It's nice. He didn't criticize the suit. He didn't say, what a chinuch. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Was liegst du in Schicht and a chain? But that's takes away. That's not good for a kid. But what he did was he picked him up to say, what's the moment of Pesach? What's the moment of Pesach? So and Lepoil had it.
Made his brothers in the elephant that became one with a dirty suit.
So he didn't tell him that could be. It could be, and could be he was still careful not to get his suit dirty.
Wait 2 minutes. We tell our kids they can't keep a shirt clean for 2 minutes.
Right. Could be. He didn't want him to yeah.
They have to make from every story a story.
Yeah.
And beside the story of a guy coming, it's a little version differently. The Koisel, and he says he's like he wants to put on film. The people want to put film on him. And this is like, it's Chabad people, they took away my tithes and I don't know.